Yeah. Yesterday I was talking about what here? HQL, Hibernate Query Language, right? Mm. It's object-based SQL queries. SQL queries are written by using table names and column names, whereas HQL queries will be written based on entity class names and its properties, its variables. Its properties means its variables. Okay, HQL queries. HQL queries allows us to develop database software independent persistence logic because HQL queries are database software independent queries. Okay, HQL query will be converted into SQL query internally by taking the support of dialect. It definitely take the support of dialect. Yesterday I have shown the source code of dialect, whether it is mapping HQL keywords to SQL keywords or not. Okay. JPQL is the specification given by JPA. Its implementation in Hibernate is called what? HQL. That's why JPQL or HQL both are one and the same. Yeah, yeah. HQL is not right now in the current version. It is not supporting JDBC style plain positional parameter, but JPA style positional parameters is supporting. Question mark n supported, but question mark is not supported. Or anyhow, it is also having support for named parameters. Okay, na? To represent HQL query, we need a query object. To execute select query, we have list method or iterate method. Whereas to execute what? Okay. Whereas to execute non-select queries, we have execute update method. Which method, guys? Execute update method. And the learning curve of HQL is very less if you have a SQL knowledge. Okay, HQL keywords are not case sensitive, but class names are case sensitive, property names are case sensitive. Using HQL, we cannot use a single record insertion, but bulk record insertion is possible. So what they say for single record insertion, they will ask you to go for save method. Okay. Based on HQL, there is no PL SQL programming. I think yesterday we completed our first application. Okay. How all these things happened, we discussed it was. We discussed or not? Definitely we discussed. Fine. This is our example, guys. In that example, HQL test.java. What test.java? HQL test.java. From com.nt.entity.insurance policy get result list. So we are getting the records. We are definitely getting the records. Okay, guys. Okay, same HQL queries can be executed by using iterate method also. Before that, let me show that. Let me show. Okay, as P. Okay, as IP insurance policy alias name. Yeah, I just want to show giving alias name is optional. Yes, we can also give the alias name. I just want to show one by one all permutations and combinations. As IP. Next, only IP. Okay. No, sir. I want to write select keyword. Actually, writing select keyword is optional, but I am interested to write, sir. Select IP. IP means alias name. IP means everything of what? Insurance policy. No star symbol here. No star symbol concept is there. Insurance policy objects came or not? Insurance policy objects came, and from there we are getting records. From there we are getting records. Understanding my statement? Yes. Everyone got the clarity? So like this, in many ways we can write, boss. Okay. Now, I want to execute same HQL queries with the support of what? Iterate method. What method? Iterate method. We have a two methods. Iterate method is there. List method is there. Both are there to execute HQL select queries, boss. Okay. Right. Let's see. I'm commenting this, guys. So why comments are not working? Acha, in the middle, some other comments are there. That's why, yeah. Fine. Executing HQL select query. Select query. Select queries. Select entity query. Entity query means which gives all column values. Scalar query or projections query means which gives specific column values. You know that, right? Guys, remember Anata. Projection query or scalar query means which gives specific column values. Using iterate method. What method? Iterate. Where are the people? People are not there or no one is active. Iterate method. Okay, dummy transaction object as usually. Dummy transaction object as usually. Let it be. Okay. So now I have to prepare the query object. That is also regular one. I have to prepare query object. Alias name is optional. Fine. Now I have to execute it. Yes, now it has to execute it. Okay, what I do is to copy paste easily, boss. To copy paste easily, only in these examples, only in these examples, I will stop declaring at the top. I will declare wherever need is there. Session SCS, so that my copy paste process becomes easy. Transaction TX, query. Okay, boss. Now, query, and I'm looking to get insurance policy objects. Execute HQL query. Execute HQL query. Execute HQL query. Right, guys? Iterate. Array, iterate. Iterator. Array, core Java. Core Java. Iterators concept is there now. Iterator. Tell me what is this? Insurance policy is equal to IT is equal to query dot iterate of query dot iterate of. Iterate is a Hibernate method. Come on. Iterate is a collection, boss. Insurance policy. Insurance policy. Tell me what actually it will give. It also gives a list collection referred by iterator. Recollect core Java. Iterator, list iterators are the cursors. Cursors. which are there to go through list collection, set collection. Enumeration is also one more cursor, which are useful to process the collection, to iterate through the collection, to perform navigation on the collections, to perform navigation on the collections, right? Yeah. This is Hibernate method. This is core Java iterator. Don't confuse yourself. Don't confuse yourself. Getting my point there? Okay. Yes, it helps us to get the elements one by one, to iterate through that. Returns list of list BO referred by iterator object. Referred by iterator object. Cool, boss. Now tell me, while it dot has next, it dot has next. Okay, has next method returns true by moving the cursor to each element. Remembered it? Okay, boss. Next, insurance policy is equal to it dot next of ic dot next of sysout policy. Sysout policy. End of try. Catch. Hibernate exception. HE. Hibernate exception. HE. Tell me. HE dot print stack trace. Array, I'm using get current session. That's why this dummy transaction. You know that, right? Okay. So here is my finally block. What block here? Finally block. Here is what? Finally block. Hibernate util dot close session factory. Session I need not to close. Tell me. Session I need not to close. While I see, if you are feeling this code is new, you have totally missed core Java collection. If without having core Java collection, if I explain 100 times also, it's waste. Okay, if I explain 100 times also, it's a waste. Understanding my point? Yes, iterate method is deprecated, boss. Okay, iterate method is what? Deprecated. They are recommending you to use more and more list method only. Look at the source code F3. Iterator or iterator. Iterator or iterator. Listen, if the query contains multiple results for row, the results are this one. Otherwise, iterator object. Entities are this one, first one. Okay. So this is the iterate method. This is the iterate method. Returns iterator object. What object here? Iterator object. Now listen carefully. What happened? It gives me this is my list collection. List of entities. This iterator object points to this list of entities. Iterator IT. List of entities. Okay, na? List of entities. So here we'll be having entity objects. Yeah, but these entity objects will be loaded. These entity objects loaded into, okay, will be loaded into list collection. List collection will be created and loaded into list collection lazily by collecting from database. Lazily by collecting from database table. Okay. Okay. Observe multiple select queries will be generated. Multiple select queries. Otherwise, observe n select queries will be generated. Select queries will be generated to get n records. To get n records. Observe, you see the output, then you will get idea. Yeah, tell me, while IT dot has next of, it will first come to first record. Okay, and moves the cursor there and checks whether that is a end of the collection or object is there. Yes, there, true. IT dot next of, you will get access to that entity object. We are getting access to that entity object we are displaying. While IT does has next of, moves the cursor there, checks is there any next object in the next element. Okay, yes, there, returns true. Returns true. Come on, guys. Okay, returns true. Okay, then as next of, you will get the real. Okay, then you will get the record and displays the record and also displays the record. Like this it is going for. As next is to move the cursor to the next element and check whether record object is there or not there. If there, returns true. Next method collects that one and it gives the object and we can display the object. Okay, just a minute, one more thing. Go to entity class. Let me add one zero param constructor and try to display the class name. Okay, anyhow, that is also done. Actually, here some proxy objects are involved, boss. See this total 5 records. Total 5 records. 5 plus 1, 6 queries will be generated. Check it out. Query 1, just getting ID values. Query 1, just getting ID column value. Did you notice it? Notice. And what is the object it is showing here? Proxy object. Come on, guys. Okay. See, query 1 getting ID column values. Query 1 will give ID column values. Total 5 boss. ID column value means 5 values will come. Having first ID column value as the criteria, first query, first select query, getting the real object. Getting the real object. Are you getting my point there? Getting the real object. Here, lazy loading. Next, displaying the first record. Okay, next. Next one is what? Second proxy object is created lazily. Second proxy object is created when you call SOP method displaying policy object. Second record has come. Again, third proxy, third real object. Fourth proxy, fourth real object. Fifth proxy, fifth real object. Guys, are you understanding? It is performing lazy loading. Did you realize that? It is performing. Total 5 plus 1, 6 queries are generated. Did you notice that? Okay, observe. N select queries will be generated to get n record. Actually, n plus 1. N plus 1 select queries will be generated to get the N records. And each record is coming to this collection lazily. Did you notice that? One proxy object, one real object. One proxy object, one real object. Total 2 objects are involved in every record fetching, boss. Total 2 objects are involved in every record fetching. So if I put this diagram nicely, basically these are proxy object, boss. Proxy object. Proxy object. These are proxy object, but dynamically gets the real object. Dynamically replaced with the real object. Dynamically replaced with the real object. Dynamically replaced with the real object after hitting the database. Here is my database, guys. Here is my database software. Here is my database software. This to this. Yes, that real object dynamically replaced with real object. Okay, boss. Got it or not there? Yes. Right. This is a real object. See, first proxy object will be there. First proxy object will be there. When we are trying to operate that proxy object, okay, it will hit the database and creates a real object, and that real object will be replacing what? Proxy object. That real object will be seriously replacing what? Proxy object. That's why you observe in the output, first proxy object, query generated, then real object. Again display, record displayed. Again proxy object, come on guys. Again proxy object. Again proxy object, query generated, real object, and record is displayed. Are you understanding my statement there? So all these are what? Proxy. No, actually I have highlighted only for one thing. Every time same thing will happen, boss. Every time same thing will happen. Okay, let us assume you called, okay, you called has next method. What method? Has next. Has next method. This is A. Cursor comes here. Calling has next method is this. Because of next method, it will start using, it will start, okay, it will come to this, it will start accessing proxy object. It will start accessing proxy object, right? On the proxy object, you are calling toString method. ToString method internally calls what here? ToString method or any non-identifier method. What method? Any non-identifier method. Any non-identifier method. ToString or non-id. Anyhow, ToString also internally calls getter methods. Are you getting my point there? Okay, boss. C. This is C. Then what happened? Dynamically select query generated. Dynamically select query generated and real object is created. Okay. select to query, execution, real object creation. Okay, it hit the database, gets the record and creates the real object. What is that? Creates the real object. Okay, boss. Okay, real object. And now this real object will be, once real object is created and data comes from that real object only, na? Record is coming from that real object. Are you understanding my point? So somehow this real object is linked with what? Proxy object. This real object is linked with what? Proxy object. Okay, 1 minute. I'll remove this arrow. I will link this one. That real object is linked with proxy object. This is E. This is E. Everyone enjoyed my point there? Everyone thoroughly understood my point or not? Okay, to give more clarity, what I do is go to this one, this dot hash code. Total 5 records are there. Total how many records are there? 5 records are there. Okay. Yeah, first select query to get only identity values. Oh, hash code 0 na. Fine, no problem. Yeah, listen. 313509 real object and proxy object hash code is different. Are you understanding my point there? Yes. Next, separate proxy. Okay. One more real object here. One more real object here. Okay. For proxy object. Okay. For proxy object, somehow it is giving 0. For real object, it is giving number. Did you notice it? For proxy object, it is giving 0. For real object, it is giving what? Different number. 286. Okay. Proxy object, again, we are getting what? 0. Fine. Okay. Now here, what is this? 963. Okay. Maybe they might have internally overridden hash code method. Come on, come on. They might have internally overridden hash code method. Dynamically generated proxy class, they might have internally overridden what? Hash code method. Array, other day I have discussed proxy class will be generated. Did I discuss that point or not there? They might have overridden what? This one. Okay, if you are feeling like this, then what we can use? What we can do? At least let me try this one also. No, give up. This dot. What is the method we are having? Identity hash code. How we call that identity hash code? System dot get identity hash code. What is the method, boss? I forgot. In Lambda API class, I talked about that. Get identity hash code. How to get identity hash code? Any idea? System dot get identity hash code. Not there, yeah. Okay, this dot get identity hash code. Array, how to get identity hash code, ra babu? System dot. Okay, let me check. System dot identity hash code. System dot identity hash code of identity hash code of this. System dot identity hash code of this. Then you will get original hash code, not the overridden. Array depth. I'm just trying to tell that a proxy object is created, nothing else. Okay, still 5 records. Still 5 records. 0. This is the original hash code 512. Real object. Same. Same. This is original. This is identity. Real object. Next 0. Overridden hash code number 112. Real. 0 900 2876 0 1054 0 9467. So at least now you agree with me. Proxy class is there, proxy object is created, and internally that is also creating real object or not. That is also creating real object or not there. Okay, how can you say that, sir, it is doing lazy loading? I commented this while loop, boss. I commented this while loop. Now you observe. You will get only one query that is giving identity value. It is not at all trying to hit the database. Only identity values gathered, and it is not at all trying to hit the database to get the 5 records. Come on, come on. Like a session.load method story, boss. Like session.load method story. Yes. Okay. Next. I comment this part. I comment this part. I will write some other number. Sysout I plus plus. Sysout I plus plus. Intentionally, I will take I is equal to 0. Intentionally, I will take I is equal to 0. This time also it is not hitting the database. Still it is giving what? Hash codes only, empty proxy objects only. It is not creating real objects. My theory and practicals matching or not matching? Sir, why SOP is doing that? Array, this SOP internally calls toString method. ToString method internally calls what? Okay. ToString method internally calls getter methods. Array, some getter methods are non-identifier methods only, na? Come on, same get load method story only, ra babu. But only the thing is, this is a bulk activity, that is single row activity. This is bulk activity, that is single row activity. Otherwise, same story. Same story. Okay, now with this maturity, you see the flow ones. With this maturity, you see the flow ones. I got iterator object, fine. Okay, boss. I got iterator object. When you call has next method, control comes here. Okay, right. Next method. When you call next method, it will locate the proxy object. It will locate the proxy object. Come on, guys. It will locate the proxy object. When you call toString or non-identifier method, then what happens here? These things will happen. Generates the select query, hits the database, gets the real object. Later that real object replaces the proxy object. On that data is displayed. I think now no confusion. Is there any confusion, guys? Clear? Crystal clear clarity has come. Whatever I talked in the diagram, same thing I have shown practically also, right? Okay. Now this is the sample code. No, I is not required. Just to take this. Process result. copy this, paste code using query.iterate method. Code using query.iterate method. If interested, you can change the order also, not a problem. Code using query.iterate method. Fine, guys. Okay. This iterate method performs lazy loading. This iterate method performs lazy loading. Lazy loading of records. Performs lazy loading of records. Okay. With the support of proxy objects, linked with real objects, real objects created for entity class. Otherwise, real objects created for created for 1 minute. Proxy objects created for the in-memory subclass of entity class. Yes, later these proxy objects will be replaced by real objects created for the entity class representing DB table records. Yes. Okay, boss. This method first generates one select SQL query getting all ID values. And then generates n SQL select queries having each received ID value as the criteria value. Each received ID value as the criteria value. Understanding my point there? Yes. Each received ID value as the criteria value. How, sir? How does it looks? It basically generates query 1. Select policy ID from, what is this? Insurance policy. Select policy ID from insurance policy. Are you understanding my point? Let us assume we got 101, 102, 103. Three have come. Let us assume. Next, what is that? Query to select star only I am giving from insurance policy where policy ID is equal to 101. This gives me 101 record. Come on. Are you understanding my point there? This gives me 101 record. One record. Query 3. 102. 102 record. Query 4. Yes. 103. 103 record. Comfortable or not there? Yes. Okay. Yeah. This method generates select query. First generate select query having all identity value and all this stuff. Okay. Here what happens here? One proxy object, one real object. Here one proxy object, one real object. Here one proxy object, one real object. Here one proxy object, one real object. Overall, each record is collected dynamically from the database or not. All records gathered at once or each record is dynamically gathered from database. Each record is dynamically gathered from database. Until real object comes, it is managing with proxy object. After hitting database, it got the real object and replacing what? Real object with proxy object. Simply replacing what? Real object with proxy object. Understanding my point? Okay, right. Fine, guys. Yeah, see, load is different. Load is bit different here. Load gets the data into load injects real object into proxy object. But here what's happening? Here what's happening, guys? Here what's happening? That real object, once real object is created, it is replacing what? Proxy object. Did you notice it? Once a real object is created, it is replacing what? Proxy object. See, it is a bit different here. Not exactly same, but bit difference. Okay. I think everyone comfortable. All these proxy objects also coming dynamically. And come on. And these real objects also created dynamically. Don't think that proxy objects are readily available. No, here proxy objects and real objects both are created dynamically. Did you notice it? Is it showing all proxy objects at once? No, it is also creating what? Proxy objects dynamically. Next method creates proxy object. When you call non-identifier method on proxy object, real object will be created. Are you getting my point? Yes. These entity objects means both real comma proxy. Objects will be created and loaded into list collection lazily by collecting from DB table. Observe, n plus 1 select queries will be generated to get what? N records. N records. Okay, now let me give the statement. Okay. IT dot next method creates proxy object. Creates proxy object in list collection. In list collection. When we call toString or non-identifier method on proxy object, non-identifier method on proxy object, then real object will be created. Will be created by hitting the database. By hitting the database through select query. By hitting the database through select query. By simply hitting the database through select query. Come on, everyone now got the clarity? Last time, see the flow. First we got a list collection, empty. Basically empty, boss. Okay, boss. Basically empty. Next method, cursor comes to list collection. When you call next method, it will now create proxy object. Hibernate gives the proxy object, makes it as the element. Okay, on the proxy object, either toString is called, non-identifier method is called. Anyhow, toString also internally calls getter method. Getter methods are non-identifier methods. So that will generate the select query, hits the database, gets the record into result set, and that is copied to real object. Copied to real object. Here RS also created. Maybe I have not highlighted. RS also created was. What is created? RS. Result set also will be created. Come on, guys. Okay. Real object. And later that real object will be replacing the proxy object. Okay. There again non-identifier, whatever called, and object data will be displayed. What will be displayed here? Data will be displayed. Come on, guys. I think crystal clear clarity I have given. Go and ask a lot of working people. They also don't know how internally iterate method works. So many people don't know what is iterate method also. They just know list method, list method. No, I want to do bulk operation, bulk select operation, having lazy loading. Having lazy loading, you have to use iterate method. Okay, boss. Right. Okay. Now let me comment this iterate method code. Let me comment this iterate method code and see the list method story. See the story of list method. See the story of list method. Okay. Query, but which query it is taking? This query only it should take. Fine. Next one, transaction. Next, list insurance policy. Insurance policy. List insurance policy. Okay. Here also insurance policy. Yes. You comment this section, not a issue. Now you observe HB select test. HB select test. How many select queries are generated? One select query, 5 objects. All are real objects. All are real objects. No proxy objects. Did you notice it? And it is hitting the database once, getting all the 5 records and displaying them. Okay. Suppose I stopped processing. I stopped processing. HQL select test. HQL select test. Still it is hitting the database and getting the 5 objects, creating the 5 real object. That means it is what? Eager loading or lazy loading? Tell me, boss, it is performing eager loading or lazy loading? Eager loading or lazy loading? Definitely it is performing eager loading or lazy loading. Yeah, eager loading. Irrespective of whether you are using those objects or not, it is hitting the database and getting records from the database. So definitely I can say it is performing what? Eager loading. It is performing what? Eager loading. Everyone convinced with me? Okay. List performs eager loading. Iterate performs lazy loading. Okay. So now let me open local documentation. Okay, whether they have deprecated this method with alternata, without alternata. Okay, Hibernate 4.47, documentation, Java docs, index.html, control plus shift plus O. What is the method query? Search here. Wait. I think better to search directly, it seems. org.hibernate.query. org dot org.hibernate.query. F3 I want to press. Okay. Yes, we are having query interface. org.hibernate. Now let me take that. Query.query I want to take. Are both are same? Huh? Yeah. Query.query method. So in this method, iterate method. Which method here? Iterate method. There is no I. That means it is not having its own iterate method. It is inheriting, boss. It is inheriting. Lot of inherited methods are there. Yeah, it is inherited from query interface, super interface. Okay. And if you look at the methods of it, here we are having what? Iterate method as deprecated. Iterate method as what? Deprecated. Did you notice this? Okay. Deprecated. Returns the query results and iterator contains multiple this. So they have deprecated it. Listen carefully. Without any alternate. Why, sir? Why? It is killing the performance of the application now, boss. Come on, guys. It is killing the performance of the application. 100 records are there. 100 plus 1 queries generation. Really meaningless or not? Really meaningless or not there? Come on. Really meaningless or not there? Okay. So that's the reason they have deprecated without any alternate. deprecated without any alternate. Is that clear? See, while getting single record lazy loading, okay. While getting 100 records, on each record lazy loading, meaningless na? On each record lazy loading, meaningless, right? Single record lazy loading, fine. But 100 records, okay, 100 records, each record lazy loading. Those many times you are hitting the database. Performance will affect like anything. Hitting database is a costly affair, right? The performance will affect like anything, boss. Okay. Query.query. Look at the list method, not deprecated. As alternate to list method, we got get result list also. From in this one, we have got get result list also there. Get result list also there. List or get result list. We can use either list method or get result list. You can take anything, boss. So yeah, from which version this is deprecated here? Any idea? Okay. I think it is deprecated in Hibernate 5.4 only. Iterate method is deprecated. That means in next version they may remove. Deprecated from the version 5.2 now 5.4. 5.2 now 5.4 from the version 5.2. Don't take pressure. Don't take pressure. Happily, you can see this. Go to another iterate method. Look at the methods. Deprecated, iterate, 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 get, iterate. Oh, they are not giving any version, boss. They are not giving any version. Oh, they are not giving any version. I think as for my knowledge, it is 5.2 onwards. Okay, subject to correction, you correct on yourself. From the version 5.2. Vaishnav Kannan, if it is removed, how I am able to use Ra worst fellow? At least use common sense, Ra Babu. Sir, has been deprecated since 4.1 and finally removed in 5.3 version. Vaishnav Kannan, your thought itself wrong. Check it out. Why? Why? Because if it is removed, how I am able to use? Right. From version in 5.2, so many methods are deprecated, boss. Oh, okay. From the version 5.2, because it's a lazy loading of multiple records, multiple records, multiple records, multiple records fetching, hitting the database software for multiple times. Okay, for on one hit for one hit per record. Okay, which is degrading the performance. Degrading the performance. Okay, degrading the performance. That's why they have deprecated this one, boss. Which is degrading the performance. Degrading the performance. Seriously, literally, it is what? Degrading the performance. Understanding my statement there or not there? Clear on this? Fine. But still there is a popular interview question. What is the difference between query dot list or query dot list or query dot result get result list. Query dot Q capital, here also Q capital, and what is the method we are having? Query dot iterate method. Query dot iterate method. I'm not comparing these two here, I'm comparing this one. Okay. Sir, already list is there now. Why they have given get result list method? Array, somehow list is not sounding like a method of a query execution. That's why they have given what? Get result list method. It is not sounding like hibernate method. It is not sounding like, oh, that method executing the query kind of thing. So since it is not sounding great name wise, they have come up with one more method, get result list. Fine, boss. Okay. List or get result list. Other side we are having iterate. Other side we are having iterate. A boss, point A, performs eager loading of bulk records. Eager loading of bulk records. A performs lazy loading of bulk records. Okay. Returns. Okay. Returns list collection directly. Returns iterator object. Returns iterator object pointing to list collection. Generates single select SQL select query. SQL select SQL query to get all n records. To get n records from DB table. To get n records from DB table. Generates 1 plus n select SQL queries. Select SQL queries to get one. Okay, n records from DB table. DB table. Okay. To get n records from DB table. To get n records from DB table. Next one. Yeah. Not deprecated in any version. Not a deprecated method. Not a deprecated method. Okay. Deprecated method from hibernate. Okay, boss. Deprecated method from hibernate 5.2. HB 5.2. E HB 5.2. Next one. Not suitable for good performance. Suitable for good performance. Not suitable. Not suitable. Not suitable because it degrades the performance by hitting database for multiple times. Okay, EF. Okay, EF. For getting N records, it hits the database. It hits the database only for one time. Only for one time. Okay, only for one time. Its database for multiple times. Its database for multiple times. Next, G. G does not create any proxy objects. Okay. Creates proxy objects. Creates proxy objects and also real objects. Are you understanding my point there? Yes. Real objects. Okay. Real objects. Come on. Sir, I said it hit the database multiple times in many points, Ra Babu. Query generated means hitting the database. That's it. H. Okay. Hmm. Akshay Bhushe, real object is created not only for toString, you call any non-identifier method, any getter method. Okay, it will happily call this one. Does not create any proxy object, creates proxy object and real objects. Yeah, next one. Entity class can be taken as final class because no proxy class will be generated. No proxy class will be generated. Cannot entity class cannot be taken as final class because proxy class generation is required. Proxy class generation is required. Okay, it is industry standard, not industry standard. Everyone in the industry uses list method only, not industry standard. Right, guys. I think more than sufficient differences I have given. Come on, guys. More than sufficient differences I have given. Anyhow, in future, no iterate method, only list method will be there. Don't worry. So that's why there's no need of experimenting by taking final. But one thing I want to say, boss, while working with bulk operations, let me be very clear. This lazy true false is not going to affect our hibernate bulk operations. Suppose lazy is equal to false or true is not going to disturb iterate method functionality or list method functionality. That lazy true get only for get method, session dot get method. It's no way related to iterate methods and list methods of HQL queries. Right now we are in the get result list method. I have taken lazy is equal to true. Do you really think it will perform lazy loading? Do you really think it will perform lazy loading? No. See, still, actually, I commented SOP. I commented displaying of list collection. Okay. Okay. But still, it is hitting the database and getting the records and displaying the records. Did you notice it? Still, objects are created. So that's why mapping file lazy. Mapping file lazy. Mapping file lazy is nowhere related to iterate method functionality or okay list method functionality or get result list method functionality. Are you understanding my point? List or get result list both are one and the same, boss. It's nowhere related to, it's nowhere related to what? This one. That is only related to session dot get method. Sorry, not session dot get method. If there is only related to session dot load method. Session dot load method only having capability of what? Performing eager loading and what? Lazy loading. Both it can do. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Everyone. The lazy is equal to true attribute of class tag in mapping file. What is the annotation we are having for enabling lazy loading, boss? I have given one annotation. At the rate lazy or at the rate proxy. At the rate lazy. At the rate lazy. At the rate lazy true. Come on, people are creating confusion to me. Let me find out whether it is lazy or proxy. No problem. There is no at the rate lazy. At the rate lazy in Spring. Okay. At the rate proxy. In that one lazy is there. In that one lazy is there. Shayan goes, you are right. Remaining all people are wrong. At the rate lazy is not there. At the rate proxy. Don't confuse with annotations of Hibernate and Spring. Lazy is equal to true. Yeah, at the rate lazy is equal to true. Are nowhere related to bulk operations in Hibernate. Bulk operations in Hibernate. Like HQL, native SQL, QBC, and etc. Nowhere related. Okay. That will be used. That option will be used only by session dot load method. And no one else will use them. Yes, no one else will use it. Some people will be in confusion. Sir, list method functionality, get result set method functionality can be controlled by using what? This lazy true nothing. They cannot be controlled. That's only for session dot load method, which is there to perform single record loading. Enjoyed my point? Yes, so many people don't know iterate method. As of now, if you don't know, also not a issue, deprecated. But old days, it is very popular interview question. What is the difference between list method and iterate method? How do you perform lazy loading while working with what? Bulk operations. Bulk operation. That time we have to know about iterate method. Which method? Iterate method. Now concentrate, guys. Right. Right now, HQL entity queries. HQL or JPQL entity queries. entity queries gives one or more, otherwise zero or more records. Zero or more records. Gives here zero or more records. HQL JPQL entity queries gives zero or more records. Yes, guys. Now tell me. Yeah, now listen. Yeah, now listen. Mm, Not entity queries, not just entity queries, select queries I will take. Select queries, not just entity queries. Fine here. Listen. Uh, Selecting all column values, nothing but entity queries. If you are selecting all column values, then what happens? That's the one option. Then you will get list of entity objects, boss. List T, nothing but list of entity objects. Okay, I'm giving all these things with the support with respect to which method? List method or get result list method. I'm assuming all these queries are executed by using what? List method or get result list method. Fine. Right. Now listen carefully. Selecting specific multiple column values. Specific multiple column values. Okay. Two or more. Two or more specific multiple column values. So at that time, you will get, tell me here, when complete record is selected, all column values are selected, you will get entity object. But right now I am going to select specific multiple column values. Specific multiple column values means you will get object array. List of object array. Why entity objects are not coming? Or out of 10 columns, I selected 3 columns. Creating entity object, okay, is wasting remaining 7 properties of entity object are not there. That's why they intelligently give what? List of object array. Suppose 3 columns are selected in list collection. In list collection, each element will be object array. Very, very interesting, boss. In list collection, each element will be object array. Suppose I selected 2 columns only. Okay, first element object array, second element is another object array, third element is another object array. Okay, here is my object array, object array, object array. Okay, here is my list object array, looks like this. Fine. This is my 0th element. first element, second element. Yes, boss. Next, here is my object array, object array. Copy this, copy this, copy this, copy this. Object array, object array, object array. Yes, boss. Tell me. First element. Why object array? Why not integer array? Why not a string array? Tell me. Array, we don't know na which type of columns we select. That's the reason. We may select. We may select what? Come on, guys. We may select. We may select numeric type columns or string type column, float type column, and object type of element can hold anything. That's the reason this is the story. Okay. Selecting specific single column value. Specific single column value. Suppose you are selecting specific single column value. Yes, boss. Then what you will get? List. Tell me. Property object. Suppose if that column related property is a string type, list strings. Understanding my point? Property type object. If that property, if column related property is int type, integer wrapper class object, float type, float wrapper class object. Are you getting my point? This time it is not object array, property related object, property related, property type object will be placed. Okay, it looks like this. List collection. Here what? That property objects. That property object. Zero, 1, 2. Okay, what is this? Property object, related object. What object here? Property related object. Guys, are you getting my point? Okay, I will give the sample query also, don't worry. I will give sample query also here. From insurance policy. From insurance policy. From insurance policy, right? Okay, here I have to give that example also, no? Fine. Already we have seen the diagram. Okay. List entity objects. Yes, all these are what objects here? Insurance object, insurance object, insurance object. So we are going to get a list of entities. Okay, what is this object, guy? Insurance object. Definitely. Insurance object. Insurance. Oh, sorry. Right. Insurance object. Insurance object. Guys, are you getting my point there? Yes, boss. So from insurance policy, example is what? Example from insurance policy. This is my HQL query, boss. HQL query. What is the query here? Example. Example. Tell me here. Example. Hmm. Select policy ID, comma, policy name. Policy ID, comma, policy name. From what is this? From insurance policy. Insurance policy. Okay, this is what this. Lastly, what is this, guys? What is this? Select a policy ID from insurance policy. Select a policy ID from insurance policy. Everyone got the clarity, guys? Everyone understood my point? At what time what will come? I think crystal clear clarity is there. Yeah, actually these are called scalar queries, boss, no doubt. Scalar. Scalar or projection. Projection query. Scalar or projection query. Yes. Scalar or projection query. Got it, boss? I think we have seen this part practically. This part we have seen practically, but here also we have seen less examples. We have seen only one example of what? Okay, without conditions we have seen. So let's work more on this. Then we will move to this. Then we will move to this. Comfortable? All the three diagrams, all three examples are comfortable with you. Come on. So at least you should have an idea on memory diagram. That's what I'm trying to say here. So first of all, we'll work with entity queries only more and more. So now let me take our next example, entity query only. We will take next query as what? Entity query only, but with conditions we want to take. We would like to take with condition. That is my intention, boss. Nothing else. Yes. Let's see. HQL select entity query with with JPA style named params. With JPA style, sorry, not named param, positional param. First, let me give positional. JPA style positional param. Okay, first tell me query. Okay, as usually, transaction TX is equal to session dot begin transaction, dummy transaction. I already discussed this. It's going to be dummy transaction. Oh, I think yesterday's diagram only I continued. Don't worry. Yes. Here is my dummy transaction. Fine, boss. After that, what next? Prepare query object. Prepare query object. Tell me. Query. query. Still I'm looking for insurance policy only. Query is equal to session dot create query. Okay. From tell me insurance policy. Okay, I think better to take with package name. So insurance policy where from insurance policy where is a keyword I can write in uppercase. Okay, policy ID. Policy ID. Come on. Insurance. Okay, fine. Policy ID greater than or equal to question mark 1 and policy ID less than or equal to question mark 2. Policy ID less than or equal to question mark 2. Yes, boss. Less than or equal to question mark 2. Oh, both places greater than I have taken. Fine. Less than or equal to question mark. Set to query param values. What values here? Query param values. I want to set query parameter values. Understanding my point? Listen. Earlier we didn't set any parameter because query is taken without parameter. Listen, boss. Earlier we used to have a lot of method now which are deprecated. Listen, if property type is integer, set integer. Come on. But now if I use that method, what happens? One comma into position comma value. What is that? 1001. Listen, set integer 1 comma 1001. There are not there. 1 comma 1001. Okay. I think I have started with 9000 now. Fine. I have given 9000. Query dot set integer. Query dot set integer. Tell me. 2 comma 9000 9005. 2 comma 9005. 1 comma this one 2 comma 9005. Which query is taken? Query dot query only taken. Come on. Fine. Now execute the query. Execute the query. Tell me here. See here what's saying. Suppress warnings. Fine. Don't worry about that. List. What is this? Insurance policy. List insurance policy. List is equal to query dot get result list. Super. Process the collection. List dot for each. Otherwise, we can go in our style. What is that? What is that style here? Okay. List dot for each of system dot out colon println. Out colon println. Fine, guys. Okay. Regular catch block, regular finally block. Regular catch block, regular finally block. That's it. HQL select test. See, these are deprecated. Did you notice it? Yes. Satisfying this, how many records are coming? Again, 5 records are coming. No, I have given only till 9003. I have given till only 9003. Satisfying this, how many records will come? Only 3 records will come. Only 3 records. Only real objects are created. See the condition where generated query condition is where insurance policy greater than or equal to question mark less than or equal to question mark. Okay. These are deprecated methods. Sir, why are you using deprecated methods? Since these are deprecated, all these methods are deprecated. Deprecated from 5.2. Sir, what is alternate, sir? Don't worry about the type. Type will be detected dynamically. Set parameter, that's it. What here? Set parameter, that's it. 1 comma 9001. 1 comma 6000 I will give. Query dot set parameter 2 comma 8000. 2 comma 10,000. Yes. Now you observe. These are the latest, boss. They are the latest. If you don't want to use deprecated method, these are the latest. Now you don't worry about the type here. You set the value, type will be detected automatically, values will be set automatically. So single method for all the things. Single method for all the things. Oh, error. What's the error? Cast exception. What's the cast exception? Cast exception. Why cast, boss? 6,000, 10,000. Right. 6,000, 10,000. Why it is giving cast? Oh, long. I will tell. By default, it is taking as integer. No, I want to present it as a long because in the policy, insurance policy, policy ID is taken as long. So by default, anything you kept here will be taken as integer. You know that, right? So click on it. Okay. Tell me how many records are coming? 5 records are coming. Matching this. Okay, matching these 5 records are coming. What's the advantage of this method, boss? What's the advantage of this method? You need not to worry about type of the parameter. You set the data automatically, type will be decided automatically. Right. Now listen, you try to work with JDBC style parameters, 1 comma 1 comma 2. I removed 1 comma 2. Okay. Let's see. You will get exception. From Hibernate 5.2, they have removed legacy style query parameter question mark no longer supported. Use JPA style ordinal parameters as alternate. So HQL stopped supporting legacy parameter. That is number 1. That is number 2. But listen, one more thing. Whatever numbers you are giving, you should give in a sequence. You cannot give by missing some numbers in the middle. By missing some numbers in the middle. HQL select test. HQL select test. Unexpected gap in ordinal parameter 1 3 1 3. Sir, where is 2? It is asking. No gap is expected. No gap is expected. Next. Sir, I'll start with 2 and 3. I will start with 2 and 3. Could not locate ordinal parameter 1. So it should start with 1 and no should not be gap. You should not have gap. Are you understanding? JPA style positional parameter or ordinal parameter should start with 1 and should not have any gap in middle. Okay, one more thing. First 2, then 1. First 2, then 1. Here I am making 2, here I am making 1. Okay, reverse I am giving. Possible or not possible? Possible or not possible? Definitely possible. This is allowed. Order is your choice. But there should not be any gap. There should not be any gap. I think you thoroughly understood this point. Okay. So first of all, this is our heading. Sir, VV Ganesh, right now I'm teaching about HQL. Why are you thinking about SQL, Korira Babu? Please concentrate on HQL. Please concentrate on HQL. If it is SQL, I would have taken directly what? If it is SQL, I would have directly taken JDBC style parameters only, na? Fine, boss. Sir, zero is also not allowed. Okay. Someone saying that zero is should be allowed or not allowed. Let me try that. One here, zero here. One here, zero here. Okay, here one, here zero. I think it should start with one only as for my knowledge. I too never experimented. Just experiment once. What is there in that? Okay, zero is also fine. Okay, zero is also fine. Zero also fine. Yes, no problem. Let me try with the negative numbers. Minus one here. Okay, minus two here. Minus one here, minus two here. Okay. First minus one, here minus two. HQL select test. HQL select test. What's the error? Legacy style. So somehow it is still not taking this one as minus here. It is taking as hyphen. So that's why positive numbers are zero. Okay, zero are positive. Okay, zero possible. Zero possible. You can start with zero, not with minus. Okay. Minus is not treated as a negative symbol there. It is treated as hyphen symbol. That's why it is not coming. So that's not a required because minus one, minus two, anything not allowed. Negative number not allowed. Order is order. Order is also not important. Gap should not be there. Okay, let me give the points. Fine. From Hibernate 5.x, there is no support for okay JDBC style. JDBC style. Plain positional params. Plain positional params. Question mark. Exception will be thrown. Exception will be thrown. We can use JPA style. JPA style. Ordinal parameters. Ordinal or positional parameters. Positional params. Question mark n. Okay. Uh, but we should begin. We should take them. We should take them either starting with 0 or 1. Starting with 0 or 1. Yeah, we should take either starting with, we should take them either starting with 0 or 1. Okay. There should not be, there should not be any gap between parameters parameter number should not be any gap, should not be any gap. Next one, should not be any gap. Are negative numbers are not allowed, na? Okay, negative numbers are not allowed. Negative numbers are not allowed. Not allowed. Definitely negative numbers are not allowed. Everyone got the clarity there or not there? Okay, fine. Okay, now listen. I'll give some sample examples. Example 1. Tell me 0, 1. 0, 1. Valida, invalida? Come on, guys. Valida, invalida? Valida, invalida? Definitely valid. Okay. Copy, paste. Okay. 1, 3. 1, 3. Invalid. Invalid because gap is there, right? Invalid because there is a gap. Okay. 1, 1, 2. Valida, invalida? Valida, invalida? Valid. Please switch off your cameras. Example 4. Example 4. Tell me. -1, -3. -1, -2. Invalid because negative numbers. Because of negative numbers, not invalid. I'm starting with 2. I'm starting with 3. Invalida, valida? Invalid. I'm starting with 2. I'm starting with 3. Valida, invalida? Invalid. Example 5. Example 6. Tell me. Year 2, year 1. Valida, invalida? Valid. I think with this you got more clarity now, guys. I hope you got more clarity. Which is valid, which is invalid. We are able to understand that. Okay. So second one is invalid because of gap. Third one, okay, invalid because of negative number. Fourth one. Fifth one is invalid again, not started with 1. Not started with 1. Come on, not started with 1. Okay, last one is what? Valid because gap is not there, only order is modified. Come on, come on. Don't confuse yourself. I am giving all permutations and combinations. Okay, this is about positional parameters, boss. Understanding? Okay, far better than regarding after someday confusion will come. Come on. I already discussed point here. Okay. Can be in any order, should not have gap. But can be in any order. But can be in any order. But can be in any order. Fine. No, count is your choice, na? Count is your choice. Is it mandatory to start with 1 and end with 2? Not compulsory. Any number of things can be there. Right now I have taken only 2 parameter. If query is demanding 10 parameter, you can have 10 numbers. You can have 10 numbers. Array, what a stupid question that is. Sir, example 5 is invalid. Example 5 is invalid because it is not starting with 1, because it should start with 0 or 1. Akku, what you are listening, guy? 0 or 1. Mr. Akku should start with 0 or 1, but it is not starting with 0 or 1. Fine. What names you will log in here? Great. Thank you. Tomorrow when we meet, we will discuss named parameters. Then we will move to non-select queries. Sir, 0 or 1, sir. 0 or 1. Sheikh Aziz. 0 or 1. 0 or 1. Sheikh Snehali. 0 or 1, I said. 0 or 1. Year 0 valid. Year 1 valid. 1 but year 1 valid. Sir, not here. See, boss, either starting with means this numbers starting. This not parameters count. You are understanding wrong this one. Mister, you are thinking in a wrong manner. Starting means not left to right starting. This numbers starting. Numbers appearance here. 1 is there or not there. We should take them either starting with 0 or 1. I am not talking about appearance wise, left to right appearance wise. Concentrate, guys. Appearance wise, not left to right. I am not talking. Overall presence. Overall presence. Overall appearance. Overall availability. I should keep your brains in museum, Ra Babu. After seeing practicals also, why valid, why invalid? What are you doing when I'm showing practicals, boss? Huh? What are you doing when I'm showing practicals? Did I not show all these practicals? Did I not show all these things practicals? Rust fellows. Okay, 2 and 3. It is not starting with nowhere 1 and 0 is there. Nowhere 1 and 0 is there. Are starting does not mean position by starting, Ra, worst fellows. Do you have a brains or drainages? I'm keep on telling starting does not mean left to right starting. Overall appearance you have to stay. Overall appearance you have to see. I have written that statement also. So there are 5 records, 1 to 5. You want to get all of them, 1 to 5. And there is no gap, sir. Sir. Why are you talking about records, sir? I am talking about parameters. Okay, this Mahan Purush you observe. I am talking about parameter indexes and he's talking about records. I don't know where they keep the brain, Ra Babu. Is it related to records of the table or is it related to parameters there? Huh? Mr. VV Ganesh, where is your brain, Ra? You have a brain or drainage system? Right now, I'm talking about parameter indexes or records index. Ganesh, I want reply from you. Such a worst, waste, nasty fellow. And then why are you bringing records into picture? Dirty fellow, muddy fellow. No, forget about JDBC. I'm talking about query parameters and this guy is talking about record indexes. Bah. I should send you for Oscar award, Ra Babu. These are related to records, sir. These are related to records, sir. If you listen the class once in a while, this kind of problems only happens. Right? Everyone got the clarity. Sir, please see the practicals properly. Okay. Please see the practicals properly. Because whatever I have written here, all the things practically demonstrated, but still people are behaving like foolish people. Such a foolish people, such a foolish people. Sorry to say. How come people can compare with record indexes, Ra Babu? That too I am writing from here. Thank you. We'll meet tomorrow.